Welcome, my dear friends. My name is Ethan, and today I want to share something very personal with you, something that changed my life in ways I never expected. For many years, my life was quiet, simple, and almost always the same. I lived in a small town where nothing surprising ever happened. Everyone knew each other's names, and every street felt familiar. I had a tiny apartment with a small wooden table, a soft old sofa, and one window that looked out onto the street below. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't big, but it was enough for me. I had a few friends, a steady job, and my family lived only 10 minutes away. My days were peaceful. My nights were calm. Life felt safe, even if it was ordinary. But when I turned 31, everything changed. It happened slowly at first. A new face appeared in town. Her name was Clara, and she was unlike anyone I had ever met. She had bright eyes, a soft voice, and a smile that felt like warm sunlight. After a long winter, she carried joy with her wherever she went. People noticed her immediately, even shy people like me. We met at the small grocery store where I worked. She walked in one morning, picked up a basket, and asked me where she could find the tea aisle. Her voice was gentle, but something inside me felt awake. We talked for a few minutes, then a few minutes more, and then somehow talking to her became my favorite part of every day. Soon we became friends. Real friends. We liked the same movies, the same old songs, the same silly snacks. We sat in the park, benches together. We walked under quiet evening skies. Sometimes we didn't talk at all. We just stayed close, listening to the world around us. Then one evening, she slipped her hand into mine. My heart felt like it was glowing. That was the night I knew I was falling in love, and somehow she loved me too. The next year of my life felt like magic. We watched movies together. We cooked simple meals in my tiny kitchen. We dreamed about the future, our future. We talked about traveling to new cities, trying new foods, and seeing mountains and oceans together. Every day felt soft and bright and full of hope. I would wake up smiling. I would fall asleep smiling. For the first time in my life, I felt like I truly knew where I was going. But one quiet evening, everything changed. Clara came to me with a look I had never seen on her face before. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes looked worried, almost frightened. I felt my heart tighten as I asked softly, "Clara, what's wrong? Are you okay?" She took a long, trembling breath. Then she whispered 3 words that froze my whole world. "Ethan, I'm pregnant." Those words crashed into me like a storm. I felt my body go still. My chest felt tight. My thoughts scattered into 100 different directions. A baby, our baby. We were still so young. Our apartment was so small. Our jobs paid so little. I didn't feel ready. I didn't know if I could be a father yet. But when I looked at Clara's face, I saw that she was scared too. Her eyes were full of fear. She was trembling. At that moment, I pushed my fear aside. I held her hand tightly and whispered, "We will get through this. We will face everything together." But after that night, something changed. Our home didn't feel warm anymore. It felt heavy, quiet, different. Clara stopped smiling. She stopped laughing. She stopped going out. She stayed in our room for hours, staring at the floor, lost in thoughts she never shared with me. I tried to comfort her. Every single day, I told her, "Clara, we're a team. It's okay. I'm here. We'll manage." But she only shook her head and whispered, "I don't think I can do this." When the day finally came and our daughter was born, the world paused for a moment. We named her Lena. a name that meant light, hope, beauty. She was tiny and perfect, with soft hair and bright eyes. The first time I held her, I felt my heart melt into something new, something stronger. But Clara did not smile. She barely spoke. Even at the hospital, she looked lost. She held Lena for a few minutes, then quietly handed her back to me. And when we came home, life became even harder. Lena cried often, especially through the long nights. We barely slept. Every sound felt louder. Every hour felt heavier. I learned how to warm bottles, how to change diapers with shaking hands, how to hold her close and rock her until she fell asleep. I did everything I could, but Clara drifted further away, like a shadow fading in slow motion, until one afternoon, everything collapsed. I came home from work and noticed immediately that something felt wrong. The house was too quiet. Not peaceful quiet, heavy quiet, cold quiet. I walked into Lena's room. She was in her crib crying, but Clara was not there. I checked every room. The kitchen, the bathroom, the hallway, our bedroom empty. Then I saw it, a small piece of paper on the table. My hands shook as I opened it. Only a few words were written inside. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I can't be a mother. I have to leave." My heart dropped. I ran to our closet. All her clothes were gone. Her bag was gone. Clara was gone. She had left me. She had left our baby. I stood in the middle of our silent home holding Lena, who was crying softly against my chest. My whole world felt like it was breaking apart. I was 25 years old, and in one single moment, I became a single father. Those first weeks were the hardest days of my entire life. Lena needed me every minute of the day, every hour of the night. I quit my job because I had no one to watch her. My savings disappeared quickly. I could barely afford food. Some nights, I didn't eat at all, so she could have enough. I was exhausted, scared, lost. And then one cold morning, I made a decision. I packed our clothes into 2 small bags. I picked up Lena and walked out of that apartment forever. I went back to my parents' house feeling ashamed, broken, and afraid I had failed as a father. But when my parents opened the door, they didn't judge me. They didn't question me. They pulled me into their arms and said, "Come inside, son, we're here." My mother held Lena gently, and in that moment, I felt something inside me finally breathe again. My mother fell in love with Lena the moment she held her. She kissed her tiny forehead and whispered gentle words, the same way she used to whisper to me when I was a child. She fed her, rocked her, and stayed awake at night so I could sleep for a few hours. Her kindness held me together when I felt like falling apart. After a few weeks, when my strength slowly returned, I started searching for work again. I found a small job in town. The pay was very low, but it was enough to begin again. Every morning I left the house early, and every evening I returned with aching feet and a tired back. But the moment I opened the door and saw Lena's happy little face, all the pain in my body simply disappeared. Her smile was like a warm light that healed me every day. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Life was hard, yes, but life was moving forward. I saved every single coin I could. I stopped buying new clothes. I stopped going out with friends. Everything I earned was for Lena. For her milk, her clothes, her little toys. She was growing fast. She learned how to sit, then how to stand, then how to walk in her tiny, wobbly way. Her first laugh felt like sunshine, filling the whole house. Some nights, I would sit beside her crib and watch her sleep. Her breathing was soft. Her little hands were curled beside her face, and I would whisper, "I'm here, my little one. I'm not going anywhere. Years passed. Little by little, I started to build a life again. When Lena turned 4, I finally had enough savings to rent a place of our own. It wasn't big, just 1 bedroom, a tiny kitchen, and a small balcony with 2 old chairs. But the day we moved in, it felt like the beginning of a new world. We made that small apartment our home, our very own home. Just the 2 of us. We ate dinner together every night at our old wooden table. Sometimes we ate simple meals like rice and vegetables. Sometimes we shared 1 plate of noodles. But even simple meals felt special when we ate together. On weekends, we visited the park. She ran on the grass with her little pink shoes. She laughed loudly, the kind of laugh that lifts the heart of anyone who hears it. And I sat on a bench, watching her, feeling grateful for life. We were building, slowly, quietly, day by day. When she was 6 years old, something happened that I had been afraid of for years. One evening after dinner, we sat on the sofa reading a storybook. She leaned against my arm, listening carefully as I read about a brave little bird learning to fly. Then she looked up at me with her softness, innocent eyes, and asked a question that made my heart tighten. She said in a very small voice, "Daddy, where's my mommy?" I felt my chest grow heavy. I knew this day would come. I had prepared myself many times, but now that the moment was here, I didn't know how to speak. For a few seconds, I just held her tiny hand. Then I took a slow breath and whispered, "Your mommy went away a long time ago, sweetheart." She looked at me quietly, waiting, not crying, just listening. I continued softly, "She was not ready to be a mother. It was not your fault. It was not mine. She left, but I stayed. And I will always stay. I love you more than anything in this world." Lena hugged me tightly, her small arms wrapped around my chest. She didn't ask again. She didn't cry. She just held on to me as if she understood everything her young heart needed to understand. That night after she fell asleep, I sat beside her bed for a long time. I watched her little face, resting peacefully. I thought about everything we had survived. The fear, the nights without sleep, the quiet loneliness, the pain of being left behind, and the long, slow journey of learning how to live again. Life did not turn out the way I had imagined when I was younger. It was harder, much harder, but it was also filled with a special kind of love. A love that came from sacrifice, patience, and the deep bond between a father and his child. I was no longer just Ethan, the quiet man from a small town. I had become someone else, someone stronger, someone braver, someone who learned how to stand up again and again, even when everything felt impossible. I was Lena's father, and that became the most important role of my entire life. As the years went by, our little home became a place of laughter, learning, and simple happiness. We cooked together. We cleaned together. We watched old cartoons and new movies. Sometimes we went for long walks at sunset and talked about school, friends, dreams, and the future. Lena grew taller, smarter, kinder. She helped others whenever she could. She loved reading. She loved drawing little pictures of us holding hands. She filled the walls of our home with her colorful drawings of a father and a daughter, smiling together under blue skies. One day when she was 8, she ran to me with a picture she had made at school. It showed the 2 of us standing together, and above our heads she had written, "My daddy is my hero." My eyes filled with tears. I hugged her tightly and whispered, "You are my hero too." Our life was not perfect, but it was beautiful, quiet, honest, full of love that grew slowly, like a small flower in a hard place. And now, as I sit here telling you this story, I realize something important. Every hardship, every tear, every lonely night led me to a life filled with meaning, a life where love became stronger than fear, a life where a child's smile could heal even the deepest pain. Thank you, my friends, for listening to my story today. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe so more people can hear these gentle stories. And remember, no matter how dark life feels, a small light can still grow. Even the smallest light can change everything. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.